back to Fun to Learn. This is Ishita, and today we are going to be talking about the American Revolution of Independence. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So, in the previous video, we had talked about the voyage from Britain to the 13 colonies. We had talked about the 13 colonies, the occupations, and we had also discussed about the four main reasons or the four main causes of the American War. And today we're going to be continuing by talking about the demand for total freedom, the protests against the British. And one of the protests was the Boston Tea Party, which was like the main event that started the war. And then we had the beginning of war. And if I'm not wrong, the war isn't going on still. So it has ended, and we're going to be talking about that and the results of the revolution. So basically, in the last video, we had talked about the four main causes, right? And out of which one cause was heavy taxation on the colonists. Now, here is a twist. The taxes were imposed on the colonists by governors that were appointed by the British. So take it like this: taxes on Americans, governors, British. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't. If there are no American governors, then why are the Americans paying the tax? If there are British governors, then the British should be paying the tax, right? There was no representation in the parliament, so it's unfair to be taxed. And the colonists argued that the British Parliament had no right to tax the colonists, since they had no representatives in the parliament. So, no taxation without representation became the clarion call of the colonists. Now, let's come to the most important event, the Boston Tea Party. Well, this was a conflict that eventually led to an open revolt of the colonies. This was the incident that sparked off the American War of Independence. In 1773, a group of colonists disguised as Native Americans or Indians raided the British ships in Boston, and they threw 340 crates of tea into the sea. This incident was a protest against the new taxes, which also included a tax on tea that was imposed on the colonists. The Boston Party was seen as an act of open defiance of the colonists against the British authority. And this began the war. The representatives of the colonists met in Philadelphia in 1774, and they appealed to their British ruler, King George III, to withdraw all the unjust and oppressive acts. However, this is what happened. The general comes in with the message of the colonists trying to tell the king what the message is. However, the king says that they don't even have rights to write to the king. And he said that this is an act of open rebellion. And he just declared war on the colonists. This paper declares the colonists and the British officially at war, but the king just declared war on the plea to freedom. This was not fair. However, they couldn't give up, could they? The British troops were sent to suppress the rebellion in Massachusetts, and the colonists raised their own army. The fighting broke out in Lexington and Concord in April 1775. The colonists chose George Washington as his commander-in-chief of their troops. In 1776, the representatives met again in Philadelphia to sign the Declaration of Independence, which clearly stated that the American colonists had the right to free themselves from oppressive acts and exploited British government. The Declaration of Independence contained revolutionary ideas and also stated that all men are created equal. And this led to the birth of the United States of America. So in 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed between the British government and the colonies. According to this treaty, the British government recognized the independence of the 13 colonies, which came to be known as the United States of America. In about 200 years, this country is the most powerful country in the world. It is an unchallenged superpower in the world today. And 4th of July is celebrated as the American Independence Day. So the war has ended, and here are the results of the revolution. So first off, one of the most important things, no more British rule. This revolution brought an end to the British rule in America. A written constitution was framed. A federal, democratic, republican government was set up, and this government guaranteed the rights to freedom of speech, freedom of press, religion, and justice under law to its citizens. Now, this country would be ruled by an elected president who would govern according to the laws written down in the Constitution, and not according to his personal whims and fantasies. Here is a short summary timeline of what happened and the year of when it happened. In 1770, we had the Boston Masquerade, in which many civilians were killed. In 1773, we had the Boston Tea Party. Billions of dollars were just thrown into the water. In 1774, the representatives of the colonists sent that message to King George to remove all unjust acts. And in 1776, the representatives met again in Philadelphia to sign the Declaration of Independence. In 1781, the war ended. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed and America attained complete freedom and sovereignty. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching this video, and please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't for more videos like this one. Also, comment down below if you have any questions or if you have any ideas on how we can improve. That's all for today. I'll see you next time.